boat in the world. And when you put the fastest race boat in the world on the fastest race course in the world, incredible things can happen. And they have. The Unlimiteds are next. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tri-Cities, Washington. I'm here with Jim Kropfeld, the driver of the Miss Budweiser, which set a world record during qualifying this week at better than 155 miles per hour. And Jim, this boat has gained quite a reputation as picking up most of that speed in the turns rather than the straightaways.
Well, we talked about it last year, and this is what we really wanted. We wanted a boat that would turn quick, accelerate quick, and not go too fast on top end. Anything over 165 to me is getting a little more dangerous than I like to do. So we try to keep the top end down but go quick in the turns.
This course, as we said at the beginning of the show, has the reputation as being the fastest course in the world. Chip Hanauer went 153 here 2 years ago, and now Jim goes 155. Any special butterflies or feelings or concerns when you come onto this course?
Well, you know, the Budweiser hasn't won here in 9 years, and I've never won here, so I guess I get a little anxiety pains going here. But it's a fast course, and the faster we have to go, the more unsafe it becomes, and the more alert the driver has to be, the more cognizant of all the water effects and air effects and the other boats around him. And it's a hard course to drive, even though it's a good, smooth course.
Okay. Well, the man who won 2 weeks ago back in Detroit is with Jim Hendrick right now. Let's get some words from him. Jim?
Okay, Don, the man who did win in Detroit a couple of weeks ago, how hard would it be to repeat with this field?
Well, it was hard in Detroit, and it's going to be hard here, Jim. But the Pringles is improving, as you know, every week. We've run some 25 laps here, all over 130 mile an hour, and I feel real confident that a couple breaks go our way, and I do a skookum job of driving the Mr. Pringles. We might get another win.
Speaking of skookum jobs, you really held off to Miller. I noticed you went outside, you went inside, you were just playing games out there in Detroit.
Well, you know, Chip's won a lot of races. He has a lot of experience, and he's an excellent driver, but I feel that I can run with him, and I just wanted to show him what the back end of a boat looks like. It's probably been a couple years since he's seen that, so we plan on giving him a little more.
Okay, Scotty, thank you very much. We're about set to go for action out here for the Heat 1A, the schedule. Here's Don.
Jim, this is by far the biggest field we've had in 1987. We have a total of 11 boats. Here's a look at Heat 1A. First of all, out of Seattle, just over the mountains, Jerry Hopp in the Miss Jackpot Food Mart. Secondly, Pepsi America's Choice and Mitch Evans from Lake Chelan, Washington. Jack Berry making his debut as an unlimited driver in the Miss Rock KISW. Ron Snyder coming out from Ohio, racing the Holset Miss Madison, qualifying at just under 120. George Woods, likewise, a new driver, coming up to the Unlimiteds, driving the Oh Boy Oberto. And finally, the man who set a world record, Jim Kropfeld, and the Miss Budweiser. So that means we've got 5 boats in Heat 1B. And Jim, you got the lineup?
Well, checking the starting board for 1B, it's true, Don. There are 5 boats in this coming heat of 1B. 2 of the boats are the turbines. Jack Schaefer will drive the U-17 Tempest. Mil Irvin coming back to action for the first time this year, driving Frank Kenny Toyota Mazda Volvo. Todd Yarlett and Pietro's Pizza, his sponsor for this event. Scott Pierce and Mr. Pringles, the winner of the Detroit race. And rounding out the field, Chip Hanauer in the Miller American. And that's the way they line up for Heat 1B. And Don, I agree with you. This is the fastest race course in the world. Just look at the speeds. I'm anxious to see this one. Let's go to work.
And this Columbia River course is ready for Heat 1A for the Budweiser Columbia Cup 1987. Welcome back to Tri-Cities. We are only moments away from Heat 1A, and one of the drivers in that heat is Ron Snyder of the Holset Miss Madison. Ron, you're coming up with a new breathing apparatus for this race. I know you've had trouble in the past sitting behind that Allison engine, so now clear air.
Well, you know, you haven't had your ride yet, so you don't really know what it's like back here. But, yeah, Doug Ford come up with this thing, and so far it's worked great. All I'm doing is filtering the air that I'm breathing back here through some charcoal filters. You know, there's no air bottles or no oxygen or nothing else with it, and it's been working great. So, you know, if you have kind of come back in before noon, then I got an appetite now and go over and eat lunch for the rest of you.
So in the past, though, you were kidding earlier saying, well, my bullheadedness finally caved through to the mask.
Well, you know, in the years past, we were so tough, us guys sat back here in the back seat, we never thought of this stuff. Well, now I got seat belts, and now I decide, well, you can change me on seat belts, because I was totally against them. Now I'll wear a mask. Okay. And it's been great.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Jim Kropfeld on his way down for Heat 1A, driver of the Budweiser, looking for his first victory ever. and Ron Snyder in uniform. Out goes Jack Berry, making his debut in the Unlimiteds. Likewise for the Oboy Oberto. Jim Harvey, crew chief, owner. How's it feel? You finally made it.
We waited a long time for this first heat, so we're all pretty excited.
I would imagine back in mid-June when the truck went on fire, you never thought you'd be here?
Never thought we'd be this far, and especially this year, but we're back, and we're here to stay.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Good luck today. June 10, 1987. Jim Harvey was driving the Oboy Oberto rig down to Miami for the first race of the year. But in Alabama, suddenly a blowout, a spark, and the fire that totally destroyed the truck, taking all of Jim Harvey's belongings and personal records with it. Somehow they were able to bounce back and make their debut here in Tri-Cities in 1987. Now for Heat 1A, the drivers. Jerry Hopp out of Seattle, driving the Miss Jackpot Food Mart. Mitch Evans, not far from home, Lake Chelan, about 2 hours away from here. Jack Berry is making his debut in the Unlimiteds, drove the 2 1/4s in the past. Ron Snyder likes to race here in Tri-Cities, the Columbia Cup, southeastern corner of Washington State. George Woods, 5 and 6 liter racer, also K-Boats, now moving up to the Unlimiteds. And the defending national champion, Jim Kropfeld, looking for his first win here in Tri-Cities. The rundown, a full field of 6 boats. That's all this course has room for. That is usually the max on any course for that matter. 11 total for the day. Heat 1A, a good rundown. Only 1 turbine, that being the Budweiser, which is, of course, a good break for Jim Kropfeld and the Budweiser crew. Here we go now as all 6 boats are running and they come down the main straightaway for the first time. Ron Snyder, the Wholesome Miss Madison, George Woods, the Oboy Oberto on the inside. You hear the gun. On the way outside is the Miss Budweiser with Jim Kropfeld. Ron Snyder with another excellent start in lane number 2 in the Wholesome Miss Madison into these very, very wide turns. Budweiser getting a little out of shape as he goes into the first turn. Look at the Wholesome Miss Madison. On the inside, George Woods holding his own, the rookie driving the Oboy Oberto down the back chute. The turbine-powered Budweiser, the Allison. Look at Snyder accelerate past the Budweiser going down the back straightaway. On the inside is George Woods, the Oboy Oberto, a Merlin engine, something that is becoming quite a rarity in unlimited hydroplane driving. He has dropped back just a bit into 3rd place. But the race right now between 2 Ohio natives, Jim Kropfeld on the outside of the Budweiser. Look how wide he's going as Ron Snyder holds on to lane 2. Coming down to complete lap number 1. Jerry Hopp in the Jackpot Food Mart, the U7 in 4th place. Ron Snyder's speed on lap number 1, 124.5 miles per hour. That is almost 6 miles per hour faster than his qualifying time. The Budweiser coming around the outside, the Hulset crew. Carol Lee on the right out of Seattle for this Madison, Indiana-based crew. The Budweiser now very slowly gaining more speed. Looks like he's taking the lead. That's the 3rd place boat, George Woods out of Seattle. And Jim Kropfeld out of Cincinnati in the beautiful, absolutely gorgeous Miss Budweiser that has been nearly flawless throughout the 1987 season. Jim Kropfeld beginning to stretch it out now against the competition. And I can see why. Speed for the Budweiser, lap number 2, 130 miles per hour. For the Wholesome Miss Madison, 121, and for the Oberto, 118. Advantages on this course is the wide turns, and that really favors Ron Snyder in the Wholesome Miss Madison. This is Jack Berry in the Miss Rock KISW as the Budweiser goes down the back chute. Beginning to string out just a little bit now as the Budweiser is in control, and Ron Snyder driving the boat that has won more races than any other boat in existence, the Wholesome Miss Madison. 22 victories for that haul. Jerry Hopp having problems down in the west turn. As the Budweiser comes into exactly the same turn, we'll have to get around Jerry to complete lap number 3. The Miss Budweiser, a winner in Florida, a winner in Evansville, a winner in Madison. In our last race, it was the Mr. Pringles winning because Jim had jumped the gun in the final heat on the Detroit River. Ron Snyder. And George Woods, who has driven 5-liter, 6-liter K-boats had a couple of world records in the 5 and 6 liters, so he knows what hydroplanes are all about. It's not a case of coming in totally cold after driving a flat-bottom K-boat into the Unlimiteds with a 3-point system. The 2 sponsons and the rudder and prop, of course. Some of the Budweiser crew, Miss Budweiser, watching the other Miss Budweiser down the back chute. And this boat, as I said earlier, 22 victories. The only boat to win more, Bill Muncie's Blue Blaster. They came up with 24 victories. This boat, who knows how many wins the Budweiser crew will pick up with that beautiful hull. Nowadays, a boat doesn't live quite as long, though. Maybe 3-4 years, and it's time where technology says you got to step up. Well, this Budweiser in control of Heat 1A. Jim Kropfeld, 400 points for the Miss Budweiser. First place. Second to Ron Snyder, who drove a great race here in 1A, 300 points. And third place to George Woods and the Oh Boy Alberto. So for the record book, the Miss Budweiser and Jim Kropfeld off to a good start. Also Miss Madison, likewise, the Oh Boy Alberto, and the rookie, George Woods. Great start for them. The Miss Rock and KISW, Pepsi America's Choice, Jackpot Food Mart. Let's go down to the pits.
Talking to Bernie Little, he did a kind of a little jump off the dock when he came to that first turn. What was going on?
Well, I don't know. We were going in pretty fast, about 180, 185, and Madison and I pretty close, and George is right behind us in the Alberto, so we had to stay on it pretty hard, just about flat out in the turn. It was just a little lumpy from just us guys being out there.
All right, it's not qualifying water.
Right, not without a doubt.
Jim, I'm with Ron Snyder, who had a great start in Heat 1A, and it looks like Ron, oh, hey, that mask is working well for you.
This sucker is really working, folks.
Is that why you had such a great start?
That's a great start, wasn't it? I couldn't understand how I did that. You taught me everything I know. You know that.
Well, we've always felt you've had a nose for racing.
You got it now, right?
And just a few miles away from the race course, the desert of southeastern Washington. We'll return to the Budweiser Columbia Cup after this. Welcome back. We're getting ready for Heat 1B. Chip, how do you feel?
Time to go to work again.
Time to earn a living, huh? Okay.
Yeah, there's got to be an easier way to do this.
Both of us have got to figure out something, huh?
Well, you let me know, we'll do it together.
Okay, good luck. Chip will be joined by Jack Schaefer Jr. driving the Tempest, built by Chuck Hickling out of Seattle, and Todd Yarling in Pietro's Pizza, the U-22, new sponsor this year. Of course, this boat, the Mr. Pringles, on a bit of a roll after winning in Detroit. Scott Pierce, the driver, out of Seattle. Beautiful paint scheme, very different.
Take it real easy the first lap. First time out. Anyway, other than that, you're ready to go. Just don't forget the ADI. All right, so you want to go what, 6?
That's Dave Cully on the left, crew chief of the Frank Kenny Toyota, and Milner Irvin, his driver.
About 40 seconds.
The drivers coming up in Heat 1B. As I said, Jack Schaefer out of Los Angeles, and Milner Irvin making his return to the Unlimiteds. Haven't seen him yet in 1987. Todd Yarling, he has run the entire circuit. Pietro's Pizza, their sponsor for their swing to the west. Scotty Pierce and the Mr. Pringles. And Chip Hanauer looking for his first victory here in this particular circuit. The drivers, again, 5 boats in Heat 1B, a total of 11 for the day. Qualifying speed for the Miller American, overwhelming, certainly. But still, second to the Budweiser, which set a world record. So here come the 5 boats down the main straightaway now for the start of Heat 1B. You can hear the engines accelerate, and here we go. The gun sounds. Pietro's Pizza right on the button on the inside. The Miller American with Chip Hanauer. Todd Yarling on the outside out of Hanover, Indiana. Second place to the Miller American. Good positioning by the Miller. New air scoop on the back, as you see, going into the first turn. But Yarling in the Pietro's Pizza on the outside, holding on to second place. Mr. Pringles is back a ways, but moving up now on the inside and battling Todd Yarling for second place. Scotty Pierce on the inside. Todd Yarling on the outside. Pierce getting the nod right now as they go down the back chute. Fourth place, Milner Irvin and the Kenny Toyota. The Miller, check that, the Miller American going into the second turn now. Great acceleration on the part of the Miller American. Chip Hanauer working the Miller hard here in Heat 1B. First time out in Tri-Cities in 1987. Second place now belongs to the Mr. Pringles with Scotty Pierce out of Seattle. Checking the speed on the Mid-American here in the first lap, 138.9 miles per hour. A good 8 miles per hour faster than the Budweiser had to work on its first lap in Heat 1A. Some of the crew for the Kenny Toyota, their first race of the season. This is a fantastic boat. It's the old Budweiser, but it's powered by a Griffin engine, a turbocharged Griffin engine, and we'll take a closer look at it during our high performance corner. The Mr. Pringles getting a little light going into that first turn. Got real light during testing earlier this week, and we will take a look at that later on today. But the Mr. Pringles performing better and better all the time, as Scotty Pierce said, running at about 130 or better on 25 test laps prior to the race today. Mid-American in first place here in Heat 1B. Second place, Mr. Pringles, Scott Pierce. Two turbines in this heat, the Budweiser alone in Heat 1A, going against the piston engines of the rest of the field. And then this is the Griffin piston engine with 3 turbos in the back. A fascinating idea. Some feel this might be another way to go in the future of hydroplane racing. Plenty of horsepower, from 3,000 to 4,000 horse, stacked behind Milner Irvin as he goes down the straightaway. But this, of course, the Lycoming L7 engine with about 2,650 horsepower. Third place belongs to Milner Irvin. First place to the Mid-American. And Chip is simply running away from the field right now. He is comfortably in first place. Second place and 300 points would go to Scott Pierce, who won in Detroit. Attrition having something to do with it. Also, Jim Crockfeld jumping the gun at the start of the final. But Scott drove a great race, holding off Jim Hanauer and the Mid-American in Detroit, especially in the last 2 laps, to finally get the victory. And it looks to me like the Mid-American is slowing down. It is! The Mid-American is slowing down after a comfortable lead. Todd Yarling going by, Mr. Pringles going by. And it looks like Chip will get a DNF. Did not finish in Heat 1A, and now it is a struggle to get into the final heat. You've got to get points in these heats, these preliminaries, to have any shot at getting into the final. He will have a big goose egg after 1B, and here will be your winner, Scott Pierce in the Mr. Pringles. 400 points to the Pringles camp. Second place to the Kenny Toyota Volvo Mazda and Milner Irvin, 300. And Todd Yarling in the Pietro's Pizza will pick up a third place, as you see, 400, 300, and 225. Let's go down to Scott Pierce.
Scotty, you never know what's going to happen. When did you know that Miller was down?
I saw him go down in the corner. I didn't let him get that far ahead, but I just wanted to be conservative and get our boat into the final and not have a problem. So
Otherwise, you were going to settle for second place.
Yeah, it was my intention. As you know, Jim, we aren't in the points race, but that doesn't mean we can't win the boat races, and we're going to try to do that again.
Okay. Don?
It has been a long time since you and I have been able to talk. Welcome back.
Thank you, Don.
I know you're trying to run conservatively, but it paid off. Now you're with a second place and 300 points.
Well, we just wanted to go out and see what it was going to do in competition. We didn't really want to push it that first heat. We kind of lucked out, I guess, with Chip stopping.
Okay, well, congratulations. Long day ahead yet.
Thank you, Don.
And I think everybody at the Kenny camp is quite happy. They have the official fun meter, which we saw a couple of years ago. It is back, and, we got to move up to 9.5 by Jerry Kenny.